time to 1985. I might do things a little differently. If I could just go back in time to 1985, I might do things a little differently.
What's up, everybody? This is Rene Rodriguez with the Long Story Longer podcast, and today's guest is Gabe Rodriguez, also known as Chuco Chamuco, local El Paso artist.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, brother? Thank you for making it.
Hey, thanks for the invite, man.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for taking the invite.
Hell yeah.
So to start off, man, Chuco Chamuco, that moniker. How'd you come up with that name?
Oh man. All right. So like, I had a bunch of shows where I was my government name, and I was, nobody ever remembered it. There's a bunch of Rodriguez's. There's one across the table from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I make it memorable? And there was a lot of artists that I follow, especially from the West Coast, and they all have some kind of moniker. Even some of the local artists here had some moniker. People would say, oh, that's this person, that's that person. And I was just like, man, I need a moniker. I didn't want it to be just like a one-word thing or something like that, like Madonna or anything like that, So I was like, how do I make it cool, And I've always liked like the rhyming ones, So I was like, okay.
Something that'll stick.
Exactly, something that represents the city too, Chuco. And then Chamuco was always like a little devil. One of my first costumes was dressing up as a devil, and of course all the trouble that I got into like later on in life, it's like it's fitting, and then like my actual name is Gabriel, so it's like duality, I am a Gemini too, so
right.
It's like you get the archangel. Well, basically you get two angels, two of the top three, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's where I came up.
Chuco Chamuco, because it'll stick with people too, and if they leave the show, they're gonna forget the regular names, like what they were saying, the government names, and Chuco Chamuco's gonna stick.
Yeah, and it's funny because like sometimes I'll be out and people will be like Chamuco, and I'll be like, hey, what's up? It's crazy. I haven't gotten used to that. I was taking pictures of like some the projects, the ones that are torn down from like next to Bowie.
Right.
Yeah, I was taking pictures like from the bridge, and then like some car passed by and like beep 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 Chamuco, and I was just like, oh damn, that was crazy.
Right on. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So your artwork in El Paso has you pretty well known already then.
Yeah, it's
locally
right
famous,
things, which is cool,
Yeah.
Not like Instagram famous, where it's like, it's like, oh, which I gotta be careful too, because if I get in trouble, it's like Chamuco got in trouble, It's like,
right.
Damn it.
They're gonna know exactly what they're talking about.
Exactly who it is. So yeah, I gotta behave myself too,
Yep. So art, man, you're a big time artist and with a very unique style. Did you try different styles out to get to the point where you're at, or is this just something that you've always been in tune with, or?
So one of the first several pieces I did were all pastels, and they're all kind of dark. They were a little bit more simplistic as opposed to the style that I'm using now. But like if you look at that old style and look at the style that I'm doing now, it's two totally different styles of art. I was mostly using it as an escape. I got passed up for some promotions at my work, and I was like frustrated in points of my life, relationships and everything like that, So I was like, let me try my hand at art, and so like I started doing that. It took away a lot of that stress. Would hop on the table and I remember like it was summer. I forget what year. Well, 13 years ago in May, I did my first piece. And then I was like, well, that wasn't so bad. I framed it with like, Hobby Lobby frames, which I'm still doing to this day. And I started doing more pieces. I did like 3 over that summer. And, I started experimenting with like different things, collages and things like that. It wasn't until later in life, a couple years later, that I ended up having a concussion. And then in order to get myself out of that hole, I experimented a little bit more with other stuff, and man, I was like really depressed. I did a whole comic book based on that time period.
Mm.
I used lyrics from Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was with Teeth. That
Hmm.
album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that's the one that he made after rehab or something like
Yep.
that. Yeah, so I related a lot with the lyrics.
That's with The Hand That Feeds. Same album, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used 4 songs. 3 from the album and then one of the ones that was like a bonus track,
Mhm.
Non-Entity. Yeah, so I have yet to re-release. I made a few comic books like in the beginning and then they weren't really selling. But I think now it would be a good time to re-release them.
Mhm.
So like I'm looking into doing that. You know, they're ready to go. So I just need to like print them and everything
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, let us know, man.
Yeah, and so like after that concussion and during that time period, I just delved deep into like all this stuff. I started messing around with cartoon surrealism, and from there, just the cartoon stuff was pretty much the one that took off. The reason I got into cartoon was I was really depressed, and I was thinking to myself, it's like, how do I get myself out of this? And I started thinking, when was I happiest, like truly happy, you
Mhm.
know? And I thought back to when I was a kid, you know, and I was like, man, you know, like when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of cartoons and I used to draw them.
Mhm.
A lot of Looney Tunes, a lot of Merry Melodies, you
Mhm.
know, like the Fleischer cartoons,
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff, you know. So I started messing around with that, experimenting, drawing different poses, drawing different things that would bring back good memories, you know. That's when I did my El Paso pieces, some of the first ones. I did the Tequila Derby one, which is still like a favorite, you know. Everybody remembers me from that piece, and it just took off from there. I actually got out of that depression, and yeah, I guess I'm a happy person now.
And that concussion you're talking about, what did that derive from, or what was that?
I slipped in the shower. I was
Oh, shit.
scrubbing my feet, and I did one, and I put it down, and when I did the other one, it just and hit the back of my head on the snout
Mm-hmm.
of the shower, you know. And I don't know how long I was out. I don't remember. I remember I was dragging my way out of the shower, but in my brain, I thought I was like drunk outside of my apartment, and I was trying to like reach towards the door, you know. I was like,
Mhm.
and I was embarrassed. I was like, what if somebody sees me out here? And you know, but I wasn't even outside. I was in the shower, in the bathroom,
Right.
you know. And I was like,
This is in your apartment, or?
yeah, you know. And they always say don't go to sleep, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next day, I was still, you know, I called in. I was like, hey, I can't go in today. I have a concussion. And the boss that I had at the time, me and him were like clashing, and he's all like, well, when are you gonna come in? And I was just like, dude, like I have a concussion, you know. They did a CAT scan, they did all that stuff, and it was all messed up. Yeah, it took a minute before I was getting vertigo. I was getting all sorts of stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that concussion got you back into the art, or is that what put you in a dark place and with that depression you're talking about, or?
Amazingly enough, it put me dark mentally, but my artwork went from dark to more surrealistic.
Good.
Yeah, so in a way, art-wise, it improved. Mental-wise, I went darker.
Mhm.
But I had to, in order to go deep and deep from going into darkness, I went up and I started experimenting with that art, which pulled me up. You know, it kind of like
Mhm.
equilibrated. to
Right.
Where to where I was okay, I guess. You know, functioning
Right.
adult.
Right on, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's awesome while you're talking about that comic book, how the music inspired you to do that. Nine Inch Nails. I try to associate everything music with everything I do in my life,
Yeah.
but I haven't incorporated that into my artwork yet.
No, that was how I first started. Actually, I did a lot of gangster raps lyrics, and I used cartoon characters. And I've yet to release that one too. Like I did like little Kinko's comic books,
Right.
and those are a lot of fun because they're real violent,
Mhm.
you know. And those were like fun to like put together, and it's like, who am I gonna kill off today, you know? And just yeah. And then in the end, I ended up using like series of characters. There's a song by Ghetto Boys called "Mind Playing." No, wait, not that one. Well, I also did that one, but "Mind of a Lunatic," and that one I used Jughead from the Archies.
Right.
Yeah, and he's the main serial killer in that one, because I always thought that he was like just he had that smug look, you know, and I was
Mhm.
like, it's gotta be perfect for a serial killer, you know. It's not Archie, but it's Jughead, you know. Who else did I
He
use?
carries that vibe in the comics about him.
Yeah.
Just looking at him.
Yeah, I did Mind Playing Tricks on Me, the last verse, the most memorable one, and that one I used Nightmare Before Christmas because it just fit perfectly. And it was crazy because, like, Bushwick Bill, I tagged him, and Bushwick Bill, before he passed away, he actually shared it, and he
Mhm.
liked it, and he complimented me and everything, and I was like, oh, damn, you know,
Hell
Bushwick
yeah,
Bill, one of
man.
my favorite rappers, you know, and he died like 9 months later. I was like, damn it, no.
Dude, every time I hear Ghetto Boys, it's always Office Space. That rings a bell in my head.
Yeah. Office Space, that's one of my favorite movies too. The Ghetto Boys is that, yeah, I love Ghetto Boys, man.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah.
Out of Houston.
Out of Houston, H-Town.
Yep.
I used a lot of their songs. They're real dark. If you like read the lyrics and everything,
Mhm.
there's a Bushwick Bill song where like he's just wanting to die, and it's like, damn, you know. And I've been wanting to use that lyric, but I don't know which character to use just yet. I still want to release that collection. I call it Comics to Drive By.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think it's like 50 pages, so it's like a lot of lyrics, a lot of songs, and there's still like at least 2 or 3 other ones that I want to use before I re-release it as a whole collective.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have some of that like in the vault. I guess every artist has like stuff in the vault. You
Mhm.
know, I'm pretty sure you got songs in the vault. That
I got music that never leaves my head. And I got rough recordings on my phone and everything too.
Yeah.
Just stuff that's waiting for me to record in the studio and add lyrics to later, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff's complete. It's just like, you know, I just gotta, I don't know, I haven't really messed around with making comic books,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not familiar with that method.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get familiar with it, you know, or at least release a smaller one, then I can, you know, figure it out from there. You know, maybe I'll get into that instead of making large pieces and stuff, you know. Well, I always wanted to do comic books like that I write. You know, I have a few that I've done, a couple pages. Most of them are dark, you know. And I think it comes from that time period. And maybe I'm waiting for a, you know, dark period, you know. I don't want to like throw it out into the universe, but you know, like at least I have a way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's a release.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I imagine so I met you yesterday at that gallery, that showing at the International Museum of Art, right?
Yeah.
You come across as pretty lively, so I'm sure you're using that dark stuff just in your artwork because you're pretty upbeat, bro.
Yeah, I try to stay happy, you know. I try to, you know, make people smile and everything
Mhm.
like that, you know. I guess it's like Robin Williams, right? You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
They'll find me hanging.
Oh, that's
find
like
me
don't say
a
that.
hooker or something, you know. It's like we found Gabe in Las Vegas with 3 hookers, you know.
With a belt around his neck.
Yeah, exactly. In the closet or something, you know, wearing like makeup or something. You know,
Asphyxiation. No,
stockings.
bro, don't do that
Yeah.
shit.
A bunch of Polaroids get published and stuff, you know. It's like, what was he doing? It's like, damn, it's Oscar de la Hoya Part 2. No.
And you were talking too, though. So you attended Comic Cons in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
else? Here in El Paso too, right?
Yeah, I started over here in El Paso. I believe it was 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't really been that long. Of course, you took away the COVID years, and that's only been, what, 4, 5, 6, like maybe like 4 or 5 years that I've been doing Comic Cons. The LA one was actually that one was sporadic. I was doing a show at Bassett, and one of my best buds, Mr. Danny, default player, props to you. We were talking, and he was saying, yeah, man, like I have this plan, and I want you to come along with it, you know. And he had like all these other like little Comic Cons that he wanted to do. And then the finale was, you know, I believe either LA or New York that he wanted to do, or Houston. I forget which one it was. And then he told me, he's all like, you should do the LA one. And I was just like, yeah, that would be a good idea. And I was thinking to myself, all right, I'll build myself up like him. And I remember just, you know, thinking about it. I was like, well, why not apply now? And I'm literally at Bassett, and I'm like applying and stuff, you know. And I got an answer a couple weeks later, and I got accepted. And I was like, oh, wow, you know. And that was sometime in the summer that I had that Bassett show. And that first LA show was going to be in December.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the table was expensive as hell because Artist Alley had already sold out. So I had a vendor booth, and I ended up getting a corner vendor booth, and so they upped the price, you know, and it was like $1,500 for the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I was like, well, I mean, I might as well, you know, roll the dice, right? It's, you know,
It's part of the hustle.
it's part of the hustle. Roll the dice. I believe that my art is, you know, I grew up with a lot of West Coast influence.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, I was like, I mean, I might as well go all the way, right? You know, go hard or go home. And sure enough, man, it was a success. It was like, I was like, wow, you know, I sold 2 originals on that first show, plus all the merch that I sold and everything, you know, and I was amazed. To this day, it's still the best out of town show that I've ever done, you know. So from there, like, I started doing like other shows too. Actually, I was already doing other shows. I did Albuquerque, well, some of the local ones, local by like as in at least 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I did Tucson. Tucson's always been really good to me. I love Tucson. El Paso. I did Santa Fe. That one was really good. I loved Santa Fe, and I wish they would do another one, but they haven't announced anything. I've done Ontario, California. These are just Comic Cons.
Yeah, I've been to the one in Albuquerque. I took my son to go see Jason Momoa. Took a picture with him and everything.
Oh yeah.
But we loved it out there. That was a good.
You know, Albuquerque they have a lot better people that they bring in. Because, I mean, I remember the first one that I ever went to was Stan Lee was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, we've never had Stan Lee over here. We had William Shatner, but, you know, something to like Stan Lee's stature. It's like, wow. Yeah.
Michael Rooker was one of the times I went. Michael Rooker from Walking Dead and Yondu and Guardians of the Galaxy. He's been here. I thought that was a pretty good one.
I saw Machete too. I was sitting by the stairs in Albuquerque, and then he passed by, and I'm sitting down, right? I'm 6'2", and he passed by, and we're almost like the same height because he's short, you know.
Yeah.
I was like,
hell yeah, man.
yeah, that was hilarious. I was like, that's Machete. That was in Albuquerque, but yeah, it's cool seeing all these people that you grow up watching, you know. In Albuquerque, I saw the dude from Saved by the Bell. What's his name?
Mark Paul Gosselaar, or
Yeah, I saw him, and I have a piece that's kind of like, it takes place at the diner. What is it called?
Route 66 Diner.
No, the diner in Saved by the Bell.
Oh, Saved by the Bell, the Max.
Yeah. So I have a piece that's based in the Max, and there's a bunch of 90s cartoons. And I wanted to take a picture with him, but then I was like, you know, it has nothing to do with him, you know. So I was like, man, next time. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've ran across several people, you know. The first guy that played Jason, I forget what his name was, the one that played the kid that jumps out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in a rock band, and he bought a few pieces from me, a few
Oh, wow.
stickers and stuff, you know. So it was cool, you know. I have pictures of that. Who else has rolled by my table? The Honky Tonk Man, he rolled by. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's cool seeing all these, you know. One of my biggest crushes is Mickie James from WWE. I took a picture with her, you know, and I was wearing like, do you remember Nightbreed, the movie?
No.
No, there's some Nightbreed.
I think I remember that movie.
Who made that one? Is it Wes Craven or?
That's one with all the crazy looking monster people.
Yeah, I believe it's Wes Craven. So, in it, Cronenberg plays a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I dressed up as that serial killer, you know. It's creepy looking. He's got this mask with the button eyes and the zipper
Mm-hmm.
mouth, you know, kind of like very gimp looking, but like it's kind of like flesh colored and stuff, you
Right.
know. And yeah, so I took a picture with Mickie James, and she was all creeped out, you know. You can see it in the picture. She's all like, but oh my gosh, she's beautiful. She's like one of the WWE's divas. Oh yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we the time we went to the one in Albuquerque, we saw, of course, Jason Momoa, like I said. So my son's middle name is Kal-El after Superman. He's never been much of a Superman fan, even even in his younger years before the Aquaman movie came out. He was just into Aquaman for whatever reason.
Really?
He's big time Aquaman, and so I took him over to see Jason Momoa. But we also saw Kevin Eastman that designed the Ninja Turtles. He was there.
Yeah.
So I was real starstruck to see him. And then one of my other favorite artists for Marvel, Adam Kubert.
Yeah.
So that was good to see him. I bought some pieces from him that are signed by him, and Yeah, man.
I was always influenced by that era of comic books, Todd McFarlane,
Mhm.
and they were really like Liefeld, Rob Liefeld. And I didn't like his style of art. I collected some of his comic books, but it was kind of like just because I knew he was a big deal at the time.
Liefeld, I never liked the way he drew mouth. The way he draws a mouth.
Mouths, hands, feet, shoulders.
And there's that classic
Misproportion.
chesty Captain America
Yeah,
picture.
Yeah, like, you know, like where do you learn anatomy? Jim Lee was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
Jim Lee
always.
is the very anatomically correct. Excuse me. And I believe, like in my opinion, I think Todd McFarlane had like similar. He had like a little bit of Jim Lee, but then he had a little bit of his own style too.
Mhm.
You know, very rubbery looking. You know,
Right.
cartoonish. But then at the same time, he had that anatomy in certain poses.
Mhm.
It's like, man, I really liked his style because it was just his own style. You know, a lot of people try to mimic it after that. I try to mimic it after that. I remember like I have a few pieces from when I was like 14, 15 where I drew Spider-Man, Wolverine from like that Spider-Man 1 through 13, I believe, that he drew before he went over to Image.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have a few of those. I always wanted to recreate the Jim Lee X-Men #1
Mhm.
when it's all the X-Men like that.
You got Cyclops doing the was it that pose one or?
Yeah, and then you see Colossus in the
Yeah.
back, and then like Magneto over here on this side.
Mhm.
Like, put all the covers together.
Yep.
I always wanted to recreate that, but cartoony, you
Mhm.
know, because that's one of my favorite covers. Yeah, but that era of comic books, it's funny that a lot of movies that are being released nowadays are all from that era.
Mhm.
You know, The Dark Knight.
Yeah, they're using those stories.
Yeah, Carnage, Venom, Spider-Man ones. I mean, pretty much all of them.
So I used to talk to when the first Thor movie came out. My buddy's niece was all about Thor and everything, and I was trying to explain to her how when we were kids we got teased for liking comics, man, and now it was the
Yeah.
mainstream, and it's cool to like this stuff now. And
Yeah. I mean, I got teased for drawing, you know. I was
Mhm.
the geeky artist, you know.
yep,
Nobody's going to think that guy in high school, you know. But, yeah, it's turned around. A lot of those people became successful. You
Mhm.
know, I think a lot of directors grew up with those comics, and that's why they're making those movies, you know. Yeah.
so we get to enjoy them and live vicariously through our sons too, watching them enjoy them. And
Yeah. And I believe it's mostly like us that enjoy it a little bit more than our
yeah,
kids,
yeah,
'cause
for sure.
It's not only the nostalgic factor, but it's also like, wow, you know, you get to relive it because it's
Mhm.
being brought back to life,
Mhm.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw Adam Kubert there at that Comic-Con, so I seen the list of people that were going to be there. I remember Elijah Wood was going to be there too. I didn't see him. John Bernthal, the guy that plays the Punisher, was going to be there too. I didn't see him either. I saw Haley Atwell from a distance. But as far as the artists, I didn't really pay attention to seeing that Adam Kubert, one of my favorite artists, was going to be there, and again Kevin Eastman. But when I saw Adam Kubert, bro, like he was gracious enough to take a picture with my son. I was like starstruck by him because he's one of my favorite artists, whatever. Well, it turns out he was staying at the same hotel that we were staying at there in Albuquerque,
Oh, really?
and they got a Starbucks at the base floor. So before we walked over the following day, he's in line with his family in front of me and my boy. And man, I wanted to say something to him so bad, but I just kept it cool. I'm like, this guy doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be bothered, you know.
Yeah, you'd be amazed though.
Right.
Sometimes I'll take pictures with you and stuff, you know, even if it's outside and stuff, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess when you're
He's with his wife and daughter, and I was
Yeah.
like, I can't bug the dude right now.
Yeah, that's true. His wife is probably like, again?
Yep. But it was cool because we just taken the picture with him the day before and got in. I bought his signed pieces, and the next day he's in line in front of me like, damn, that's pretty badass. Regular dude.
One of the dudes that I was starstruck with was James O'Barr, creator of The Crow.
Right.
Yeah, first time I saw him was at that Albuquerque Comic Con, the one where Stan Lee was, and he had all this stuff. You know, he was kind of like a brooding guy at the time. He's a little happier now because I ran into him at Tucson Comic Con, and at the time he had drawn a comic book that was a very dark Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was when I went back and asked him in Tucson if he still had pages. He said he had given them all away, and I was like, damn it, because at that Albuquerque one, he was selling like $100, you know, for the actual, you know. I should have bought them, and I kicked myself in the butt. He told me that he eventually just gave them all away, and I was like, damn it, you know. Of course, I could always ask him to, like, you know, commission him,
Mm-hmm.
but judging by the way he was describing it, it almost is like a heartbreak, you know. Why would I commission him to do something that broke his heart? You
Yeah.
know? So Yeah, I never asked them. You know, if I ever come across one, maybe like at I don't know, a pawn shop in Vegas or something. You know, I'll buy it then or something. You know, but
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. That
Damn
was
it.
one missed opportunity that, oh man, I should have done it. I should have bought it. I was broke. I was, you know, in my 20s, but I should have done it, man.
Yep.
Now it's like I see something like that and I jump on the opportunity. I found the O.J. Simpson signed 8x10.
Right.
You know, and I bought that, you know, and I traded a bunch of toys that I had. You know, I'm not really a toy guy, but I had a whole bunch of them, and I was just like, yeah, you know, when I was asking the guy at the card shop, I was like, yeah, this, yeah, that. It's like, I do have an 8x10 of O.J. Simpson signed. I was like, really? I was like, psh, you know, even trade. I didn't spend any money, so that was great. You know, now it's probably worth more, right? Since he passed away. Or I don't know. Right?
I don't know that'll carry any worth, man. I mean,
it has some worth.
Yeah, for
Probably
sure.
sell it for $100 or something, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's people that buy that stuff, you know. Murder Billy is what I call it.
Oh yeah.
You know, or is what people call it.
I'm
sorry. Yeah, I have his rookie card, O.J. Simpson's. What's that football player? The one that the murder one, the one that played for the
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, I have one of his cards. I have the one where the Menendez brothers are in the background.
Was that a basketball card?
Yeah, basketball card. I forget who it was, but I have that one too. Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff like that. You know, all the weird stuff. You know.
Do you still collect comics, or not collect, but you still got a couple of comics too that you used to have as a kid or anything like that, or?
I have all of them, dude.
You do?
I have all of them. Yeah, and I'm actually thinking of like, should I sell them now that they're hot?
No, bro.
I don't know, because like, I think now that they're hot, it's probably gonna be worth a little bit more than like later on, you know, because the movie's out right now. You know what I mean? And unless they recreate a movie like 20 years from now or something like that, you know, then I don't know. But then how much more is it gonna be worth? You know what I mean? Like, I know comic books are slowly disappearing. They're not selling as many. It's more online comics now, or graphic novels. But what I want to do is I want to flip them. So I sell them, throw that into my art. Like, let's say this comic book bought me the LA Comic Con table. The LA Comic Con table, I know it'll flip itself.
Yeah.
It's just like a double flip, you know. So I don't know, you know.
I sold all my old stuff to my buddy Levi. I think he bought some of my stuff, and I can't remember who else I sold stuff to, but I used to have the Batman Spawn crossover, and that one's worth money. I regret selling that one. My brother had Deadpool #1 with a nice embossed cover on it.
That one too.
All I have left that's of any value is the first appearance of Old Man Logan. I've got that one in this closet here somewhere.
Yeah,
in the box.
Man, I have like Ghost Rider #1. I have a Wolverine #1, Punisher War Journal, and Warzone #1. I have the whole Infinity War saga.
Wow.
Carnage's first appearance. I have a bunch of Venom ones, like not 300, but the ones that came out afterwards that were like in the first 50 comics, like between 300 and 350. All the #1s from Image. Do you remember all the #1? Well, Spider-Man #1, the one with Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
X-Men #1 with Jim Lee. All those #1s that came out during that time period, I have all of them.
Wow.
First appearance of Spider-Man in the black costume, and the last appearance in the black costume. I have Spawn #1 through 100. That was my favorite.
#2 is one that's worth money for Spawn, I think, more than one.
Oh, really?
I think so. I could be mistaken, but I think I might be accurate saying that.
Well, I have one of those.
Wow, man.
I have so many comics, man. I have a Godzilla #1 from the 70s. That one's worth some cash. At one point, I had the Days of Future Past from the 80s, but I gave it away as a gift to an ex's daughter. And, you know, she was like my favorite little... Yeah, in relationship-wise, I was the only kid that I got along with.
Right.
And I kicked myself in the butt, but at the same time, I hope she kept it, you know? Because, yeah, that one, I mean, Days of Future Past, you know, it's one of my favorite storylines, you know, it's the whole Back to the Future thing, you know? I've always liked that storyline, Back to the Future. And now I believe, like, they're doing the whole multiverse thing, which is kind of cool, you know, because I like time loops. I like interactions and stuff like that. You know, I've had dreams where like I'm in time loops.
Right.
Yeah, so it's interesting in a sense. You know, I had this idea where like I'm trying to come up with a storyline where like Back to the Future meets Bill and Ted meets what's that dude with the telephone booth?
Oh, Doctor Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who, and then like the whole the what's that thing, the atom smasher thing that's in the Netherlands? What is it called?
Oh, the
Collider.
Yeah,
the particle collider or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like something with that, and then like the whole Mandela effect.
Right.
You know, do a storyline with that, but I'm still trying to figure out how to like sort it out and everything like that. You know, how to do
That's a bunch of crazy angles, bro.
time loops with going back in time with Mandela effects. You know, so it's but my brain's still trying to like fit it all together. One day it'll come out. One day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing mashups. I had this mashup of, you ever seen the movie Falling Down?
Yep.
You ever seen the movie They Live?
Yep.
So I want to mash those two together, you know.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, but kind of like take out Roddy Piper and put in the guy from Falling Down.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, and I think that would be a badass storyline, you know. I just got to figure out, because, you know, it is an election year, and I was like, okay, how do I do this so that it's kind of like timeless in the same way that They Live is. You know, They Live, you see it now, it's like, damn, man, that still fits, you know. Same thing with Falling Down. It's like, damn, that still fits.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But I think we live in times where it's like, it's cycles, you know.
It just
timeline.
loops.
Yeah, it just loops around, you know. It's kind of like the 80s now, you know. Maybe early 90s. It's coming back like political wise, you know. Except right now, I think it's, I mean, I don't want to get into politics and stuff.
No, but
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, because even one of my all-time favorite shows, bro, is My Name Is Earl. And I always rewatch that show on Hulu every so often. And I can't remember the sayings or the jokes at this moment in time, but there's stuff that relates to politics now that they touch base on that show, bro. It's
crazy the world that we live in. And same thing with humans. Like in our own lives, sometimes we cycle through like all over again in certain things, certain situations. Maybe, you know, your kid goes through something and you're like, damn, you know, I went through that at that age, you know. It's the whole cycle of life, right? Yeah. So that's why I kind of want to do like those time loops, you know, the thing collider and, you know, all that stuff, you know, kind of like brings back one of my favorite movies that came out recently was that Spider-Man one, the one with all those Spider-Men. And
Into the Spider-Verse.
no, the other one, the one with the 3 Spider-Men.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What was that one called? Far From Home or?
No, wait.
No Way Home.
Yeah. So the reason why I like that so much, after I watched it, I was like, it wasn't so much the nostalgic factor. Well, it was that. But
It was, bro.
it was also that it kind of went deep, you know, because like there's a scene where they're like, you know, one of them talks about how like he stopped pulling punches, and the other one, like, you know, how he was just kind of like, you know, he gave up and stuff like that, you know. So if you kind of see it, it's, you know, depending on if you believe in heaven, hell, reincarnation, stuff like that, you know, they say that hell is repetition, you know, and reincarnation is repetition. So in a sense, we're already living in hell. You know, if you believe in reincarnation, how many times have I lived? How many times have I lived this life? When you die, you'll go to whatever next plane is, and you're like, damn, you know, I lived this like how many times? You know, it's 1,000,000. Like, damn, you know.
That's why I think deja vu is, bro. Like even before they show that scene in the Matrix, whatever part of that movie it was, like deja vu. I'm always thinking, I've lived this before.
Exactly.
This is part of that loop where I'm coherent about something I've already done before.
Yeah. So like it was a way for him to correct the wrongs of the past in order for him to move on and stuff, you know. So that's why they had to defeat all their villains, you know, like It, you know, the movie It.
Oh yeah.
All the kids had to defeat that one It that they feared the most. You know, it could be anything. It could be anything.
Right.
And that's why it changed, you know, and that's one of the things that I try to do with like my art and stuff. You know, I try to go back and try to see what it is that I'm supposed to correct. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of go deep sometimes, you know.
No, that's cool, man. I think with me, the older I get, it's more like I am Catholic, I am religious, for sure. But I'm also to the point where the older I get, I'm starting to think there's more to life than this, and I think that's where those loops come into play, or just the thoughts of reincarnation and all that stuff. You know.
More to life than this, like in what sense? Like,
I'm sorry.
like more to life in what sense?
That like you're talking about the loop, bro. Like I'm thinking to myself, for instance, going back to the deja vu, I'm thinking this is part of an integral part of my life, or maybe I should take a left instead of a right, stuff like that, because maybe the past loop I made the wrong choice, and I want to right that wrong, like we were talking about. Or I don't think it's over once we die, bro. I don't think it is.
No,
There's got to be more to this.
They always say that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and I believe us as humans, we're energy. We're living in, the only thing that decays is this body. You know, we get older, we die. So once that body dies, the energy is released. Where does that energy go?
Yeah.
Obviously it doesn't get destroyed. It has to go somewhere. So that's the question right there. Where does it go? Does it move into another body that's being born?
Right.
So if, nobody remembers when they were in the womb. Does it go there? They say that when you see, they say, go towards the light, and when you go through the light, maybe that light is when you're being born again.
That's the reset.
Yeah. You're a baby all over again, and you forget everything. Who knows?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I think for sure we don't want to see our loved ones around us die. That's still the scary part that we got to learn how to cope and deal with. But I think the older I get, I'm in no hurry for that to happen to me. But I'm getting more comfortable with the fact that it's just a part of life. And I think the thought that comforts me is the whole aspect of there's something more to this than what's going on right now.
Yeah, because we see people expire and stuff,
And it hurts.
First time I saw somebody pass away, well, I didn't see him pass away, but a dude that I went to high school with, and we grew up in the same neighborhood. He lived down the street, and he got shot in the drive-by.
Oh, wow.
And he died that night. But the crazy thing is that I was seeing some girl, and she lived in this house that's on the street that's close to the high school. And when I came out of her house, I was supposed to meet up my dad at the high school. He was going to give me a ride back. He didn't want me walking home. And when I came out of her house, I ran into him, and he was walking his girl home, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" It's like, we're talking, whatever, like that, and I went to the high school. He went to drop off his girl. I went home, and I ended up getting a call back from that girl. She's like, so-and-so got shot. And I was just like, what? I was like, I just saw him. He's like, he just got shot in front of my house. So after he dropped her off, he was walking back, and right in front of her house, he got shot in the drive-by, And I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, had I left her house 10 minutes later, we both would have been in front, and we both would have been talking. We both would have been shot, And I was like, damn, dude. But that was eye-opening. That was like the first person that I ever heard that was close to me that I knew growing up had passed away. And I knew him since elementary. We had kindergarten together. Yeah, I was like, wow.
I've had it happen where I saw a relative that was extremely ill. I saw them at Walmart of all places, and I was having one of those days where you're just in a hurry to get home and not talk to anybody,
Yeah.
And I think a week or so later, he ended up passing away. And I think to myself, damn, man, I should have made the time to say hi or something,
Yeah, because you never know, it's crazy. Yeah, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, My best friend passed away, and I wish I would have talked to him more, But we did. We partied a lot too, His mom still tells me.
So you got those memories.
Yeah, his mom still tells me that I was the one friend that took him out the most, and she thanks me for that, Poor guy, because I put him through some stuff. Some of that party, man. It was, we go to Juarez, and we would,
Yeah, so agent says you're the notorious partier, bro.
I was, man. I partied like crazy, dude. I don't know what happened. I think I was bullied as a kid. I was always a geeky kid, and so when I broke out of my shell, I was like, man, I need to go all the way with this, and so I'm one of those people that have to go all the way with things. You don't do it or go all the way.
Right.
I told you about the LA Comic Con thing.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's a bad thing when you're partying, because I wanted to take that all the way, you know. And first it was Juarez, then we go out of town, and it'd be Vegas, and then I partied in Miami, and that was wild, you know. And everywhere I went, it was like, you know, put the volume all the way up.
Right.
You know, it's like, I'm not from here. Who cares? You know. You know. Yeah, it was.
Well, you fucking went all the way with that naked party you were talking about the other day. that's fucking ballsy, bro.
Dude, it was. Yeah,
that's confidence, and that's ballsy.
Everybody was naked, dude. It was funny because it was during the MySpace days, you know. And I'm so glad there was no camera phones or anything like that, you know. It started off with a pajama party. That was the first party. And I mean, should have been naked party from the get-go from there, you know. But then afterwards, that might have been like pajama party part 2, and then they just ended up, you know, yeah, everybody was drunk, everybody was just doing each other. It was
and what was the ratio men to women? Because
it was equal.
Is it? Fuck.
Yeah. Most of the time it was.
I'd be afraid all the sausages show up. See y'all later.
It was a funny story too, because I remember like at one point. Oh man, let me see. Should I say this story?
Say it, bro.
Yeah.
Just change the names.
All right. So I was staying in this house, and I was downstairs with the girl that I was with, and we had just finished doing our thing, and I was like, I wonder what my buddy's doing upstairs. You know, obviously he was with a girl, and so like I went upstairs and
playing Monopoly or playing Monopoly or
yeah, we'll call it that. No, it was messing around with this girl. Everybody was messing around with somebody, and so like I go up there and I pick the lock on the door, and so I used to carry this WWE belt. And the reason why we carried that was because like I used to have parties for like boxing events. I love boxing. So like before the boxing pay-per-view, we used to play video games. We used to play like, you know, Fight Night.
Fight Night was cool.
Oh man, I love that game. I was a god in that. So whoever won that night got to carry the belt. You know, so I had the belt that night. And so I go upstairs with a belt, and I pick the lock, and I open the door, and this dude's on top of this girl, and he turns around and hit him with a belt like WWE style. Bam! You know? And he gets mad. He's like, motherfucker! You know, and so I take off running. I'm going downstairs, and so he's running after me. His girl's running after me, and I go back to the bedroom that I was at. And the girl that was in there, she had locked the door. And I was like, open the fucking door! You know, and the dude gets the belt and whack right across my back. And I was like, you know? So he goes running up the stairs. I grab the belt. He goes running up the stairs. His girl's going after him. I'm going after her. I grab her by the leg and pull her down, and she gets carpet burned all on the stairs, you know. And so like everybody comes out of the room, out of their own rooms, and you know there's a bunch of naked people and stuff, you know. And like what happened is like this fucker, this and that, you know. And it was crazy, you know. And then eventually there was a dude that was on the sofa, and he didn't have a partner, you know. He was fully clothed, and he comes up the stairs like naked, you know. And so like after a while, they're like, wait a minute, I know why you're naked. I know why you are naked. I know why you are naked. Why are you naked? You know. So we all busted out laughing, right? And the dude, like, you know, he was all like, you know, wah, 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 wah. He went back downstairs. And that was a crazy night. Yeah.
Notorious, bro.
Notorious, man. It was insane, dude. It was, yeah. But, yeah, how old was I there? I think I was like I might have been like right at 30 or 31 or something like that. I forget how old I was. Yeah, my shelf life on partying was like a little bit extended. The milk's probably gone bad, but it was fun though.
I was gonna say we were at the wrong parties, Adrian. But then again, if I get invited to a naked party, I'm not that confident, bro. I think my brother Rudy would be confident.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's liquid courage, man.
Yeah.
A few shots, you know. Yeah, I'm going in, you know. It's a party now.
Well, if you got the AC on, bro, I'm fucked. So when I was in art school, though, bro, the parties that we had, me and my buddies, Amado, Ethan, Danny, and Sergio, and our friend Chris, they called him Macarena, was his nickname. the parties that we had, it started with my buddy Ethan asking me to punch him at a party, bro. He's like, I don't know if I can take a punch. Punch me, Rene. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna punch you, Wade. I'm not gonna punch you, man. And he kept on insisting that I punch him, bro. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna punch you just because, bro.
Yeah.
Punch me first. That way I can fucking reciprocate the punch, you know?
Yeah. It'll come
So
naturally.
what ultimately happened was he punches me first, but he overthought it, so he barely fucking nicked me. So I didn't get punched too hard. And then I overthought it, but I connected pretty good. I returned the punch, boom,
Where'd you hit him?
on the cheekbone. So he drops to the ground, and we're punching the face. He drops to the ground, and he's like, man, if that was only half your punch, I'm not tooting my horn. I'm not. I just connected pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But from that point on, all of our parties, people were punching each other. But it was just punch for punch. That was it. And next group to do it, boom, you're next. But then people started wrestling too, bro, at our parties. So that's what our parties were known for punching and for fucking wrestling, bro.
Damn. The only time I saw wrestling was we were smoking hookah, and there was this girl. She's named after a famous city.
Right.
And she, man, I remember like we were just smoking hookah, and like you see on the ground, and she's wrestling with this dude, and just stuff flopping everywhere, anybody want to give her a jacket or something, but nah, she was like that though. She was just, she was at that naked party too.
I remember one of those parties. So my buddy Amado and Ethan's roommate was this white boy that wore the very baggy FUBU shirts and the very baggy pants, and he had a rat tail. I remember I once saw him shorts. He had the word Cherokee tattooed down his leg. I'm like, you're not Cherokee, bro. Anyway, I didn't like this fucker, bro. This fucker had a weird sense of confidence where he was a dumbass, but he was confident, right? I just didn't like the motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he was wrestling other people. And my friends were egging him on to wrestle me because I didn't like him. He was unaware I didn't like him, but everybody was just to see what would happen if me and him wrestled. And I was scrawny, bro. I was skinny. Tall, whatever, but I was skinny, and he was pretty well built. But all the other wrestling matches I saw him go up against anybody, he'd always do the Goldberg spear from the get-go. So I was like, I got to try to use that to my advantage. Like, I thought about it for sure, and this is one of the only fights I ever won, bro, because I wasn't going to fight him because he was stronger than me, but I was like, fuck it, man, let's get this out of the way because these fuckers are going to keep on asking for it until it happens. So somehow or other, bro, he lunges at me when we start wrestling, and I grab him in a headlock right away, and we both drop. And while we're twisting on the floor, I end up with my feet that way and his feet are this way, and we're in a double headlock somehow.
Yeah.
But I think with my arms being skinnier than his, I was able to apply pressure more. And I remember my vision was about to black out, bro. I was about to black out when everybody's like, Rene, let him go, he's out. So I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I beat this fucker. I fucking made that fucker pass out, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, man, good times.
That's like Ali Frazier 3, man. It's like Ali's like, cut the gloves, no. And Frazier's all like, no, that's it. I was like, oh, damn, I won. There was this dude that I used to work at the call center with. And I remember like in the beginning, everyone was saying like he was a big partier like me, but I had already been there. And I don't know why, but everybody thought that me and him would like be in conflict with each other because we were both partiers.
Right.
It's call centers, rumors and everything like that. We ended up at the same party one time, and he's sitting across from me, and I'm over here, and I remember like people were talking to us, and he kind of like, I guess they were telling him the same thing, like, oh, that's Gabe over there, and that's whatever like that, and I remember like I cracked a joke with him, like complimented him on something, and he just kind of like lit up. And so after that, like we both ended up becoming buddies and stuff. We were like, man, we partied so much. He introduced me to Vertigos. I hated Vertigos at the time.
Right.
Before then, but he's all like, man, we gotta go to Vertigos. I was like, man, whatever, all right. And next thing you know, every weekend, dude, Vertigos. We pulled like girls out of there, and it was, yeah, man, it was it was pretty cool with him. He ended up moving on. I ended up going into a relationship for briefly, and that was the only other time that I saw that there was like a conflict, but it ended up being nothing. We ended up becoming like really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I guess, the cool thing about that. You know, I was always about just having fun.
Right.
I never really want to have conflict, you know.
No.
Yeah. Except when I would go out with somebody's girlfriend or something like that, you know. I didn't like the dude or whatever, you know.
Trouble came looking for you.
Yeah, but even then, it was just, you know. I mean, you're in your 20s and you're just like, oh, okay, what do I do next, you know? And you just, like I said, you know, go all the way with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But those call center days, man, those are fun, dude.
So you two then were pretty familiar with Wednesday at Speaking Rock Ladies Night?
Yeah, I was already in the military at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh man, that was brutal. So Wednesday night was ladies' night.
Right.
And
$2 you call it also?
It was what?
$2 you call it?
Yes. You know, they had the sexy lady contest over there. You know, the one for the chicks over here on this side. You know, and Thursdays I was still in the military. At the time, I was a PT NCO, and I had to conduct PT. You know, physical fitness, and I had to do it at the canyon. You know, so just imagine like drinking all night. You know, getting out like at 2, 3 in the morning. You know, PT was at 4:30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Sweat that shit out?
yeah, most of the time I was still drunk, you know, running the canyon. You know, it wasn't until about noon that the hungover would hit.
Right.
The hangover is like, oh man, you know, and during lunch, you know, try to go find some place to take a nap, you know, it was brutal. But following Wednesday, we were back, you know, and those were good times too, you know. But yeah, it was just brutal the next day. I had to gauge myself, you know. I don't know how the hell I did it, because there's no way I could do it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I drink a little bit and it's just like, oh man, like how am I gonna make it to work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's age, man. It's like Jesus.
So that's one of the things that we were talking about after we left the show yesterday. Adrian, myself, and my brother Ruben were saying it was pretty cool how, as an artist, you're a regular dude like we are, you know.
Yeah.
You've got your regular stories. You've got a similar life to what we've lived, as far as the partying and all the fun and.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's. Yeah, I partied a lot, man. I mean, there's been dark times, there's been happy times. It's been turned up all the way on both ends. You know what I mean? Like when I was depressed, I was depressed.
Right.
You know, when I was happy, I was happy. When I was having fun, I was having fun. You know?
Right.
It's been the best of both worlds. You know, because that goes with. I don't know, being a Gemini or just being one of those people that goes all the way, you know. Yeah, man, it's, I guess I'm not used to like the whole, you know, oh, Chuco Chamuco, you know, I mean, I'm used to that, you know. It's still I feel myself as like that shy kid, you know, like sometimes when I do shows, I get nervous, you know, I'm like, oh man, I'm nervous, do I have enough? Are people gonna like it? You know, when I did my first LA one, and even the second one, I was nervous, dude. I was like, oh man, you know, this is big time, dude. 130,000 people show up. You know, it's like 130,000 people. What if I don't sell anything? You know, what if people don't like it? What if people?
That's 130,000 pairs of eyes looking at your artwork.
Exactly, you know, and it's nerve wracking, you know, and it's. I think back to that time, I was very extroverted.
Right.
I was always around people, and now what you can. I've read that I'm considered an introverted extrovert. I'm by myself a lot. When I'm around a lot of people, I have to take time to like recharge. You know, I'm not the way I was before, you know, and I think that's from the concussion, you know. It's even some of those memories, you know, from the partying days, you know. Adrian was telling me that, you know, an incident that happened. And I was like, I don't remember that, dude.
Footprints.
I was drunk and everything, you know, but I don't remember, you know. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And people had told me like stories like, you don't remember this? I was like, no, dude. Like, and there's been times where like I wasn't even drunk, you know. I was like, you don't remember that? And I was like, no, man, no. I was like, some memories are lost, you know. I'm glad like I still talk to a lot of people and they bring back those memories, you know, and try to like fit in like little pieces of the puzzle,
right?
You know? But yeah, apparently I had a fun life, you know.
Now imagine you got somebody that partied with you. It was the best day of their life, and they say hi to you, and you're like, I don't remember who you are, man.
That has happened.
Oh, shit.
Dude. Yeah, I had a person that was training me on what I do now, and he was part of this other company, and he's all like, you know, he was all like, you don't remember me? And I was like, no, dude. It's like, I used to go to your parties. referring to that time, the pajama parties, the naked parties, whatever, and I was just like, damn, dude. I was like, wait, who were you with? And he told me some names and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. I was like, I don't remember you, dude. He's like, yeah, I went to several of them, and he was just like, he was looking at me like starstruck, and I was just like, parties were legendary, apparently, but yeah, it's happened, man. It's happened. Yeah, even certain people, like females, I have memories with. I'm just like, like I don't remember you. You don't want to say that, but it's like, oh man, I don't remember, but you're like, oh yeah, how are you, and start talking about the kids.
You look great.
Yeah, you look great. All right, talk to you later. A week later, you get a friend request. You're like, damn it, it sounds bad, but I mean, I don't know. Does it sound bad? I don't even.
No, it doesn't sound bad, bro.
No.
No.
Yeah, it fucking does. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, I can't remember everything, Does anybody?
Again, best night of her life, and you don't remember her.
To me, it was just. No, I don't. Hey, you're making me feel bad.
Oh man!
It's you watching this podcast. It wasn't you.
Oh shit!
So anyway, yeah, art.
Art.
No, it's and a lot of times, like, I think back to a lot of those memories, and some of my pieces reflect a lot of that time period. I need to do a lot more. Like, I need to do more females.
Mm-hmm.
As a centerpiece, I did one for an Aztec piece. It was Evil Lynn. She's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a crush on her, the little figure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I need to do more female pieces. I did do. Oh, it's the same one. I was gonna say Alice in Wonderland, but I mixed the Aztec with Alice in Wonderland. And
oh shit! Yeah.
So I'm trying to do more deep pieces and stuff. A little bit more.
More thought into them.
Yeah, more thought into them. Because ever since COVID, so COVID, I don't know what most people did, but during that time period, I ended up putting more detail into my artwork. I was like, well, I'm not doing any shows. It's not like I have to rush any pieces.
I just got fat during COVID.
I think we all did, man. Yeah. It's like, oh, the liquor store's open. Let's go buy some bottles. But I did practice on my art, and
good, man.
if you see the stuff before and after COVID, you can see that they're more detailed, they're more deep.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I remember when they were like talking about closing everything down and everything. You don't believe it. I told my parents, I'm like, it's like, it's not gonna happen. Boom, everything gets shut down.
Yep.
Luckily, I had already like stocked up on everything art wise,
Mm-hmm.
and so like, yeah, man, I created some of my best pieces during COVID, and that's basically what put me to the next level. And it's crazy because after everything opened up, that's when everything blew up as far as the art scene for me. I started selling like crazy. I was like, damn, man, like, wow, people really love this stuff, and that afforded me to go out of town.
Right.
And it was insane because it was just like, it was day and night. I would do these small shows, make a couple hundred, whatever, and then like after COVID, it was like, wow, it quadrupled, more than that, and it was just like, wow, it's, let's do out of town ones now, You started off with Albuquerque and everything, and yeah, relationships kind of got in the way at some points, and I had a lot of relationship problems, but in the end, like, I had to put my artwork first, because in the end, if I give that up and I do the relationship thing and both of them don't work, I'm left with nothing.
Right.
So you have to have at least your grounds, your boundaries and stuff, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, but that's, I guess we all live and learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It sucks, because some of those relationships were really good, but what can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or talking about relationships earlier, you know, and it just sometimes it's like it's heartbreaking. Well, all the time it's heartbreaking, especially when you put into it. You know, it's weird going from like those partying days to like having relationships. You know, and it's like, you know, a lot of people tell me it's like, you have a girlfriend? It's like, yeah, I have a girlfriend. What do you mean? You know, you're going steady? Like, yeah, you know, but
Yeah, I think relationship wise with me, it's just I just want to get it right, which is why I've never been married. I just want to get it right, and I come with my flaws for sure, you know, and
yeah, we all
and again, the older we get, it's just, you know what, I know what past mistakes I've made, and at this point in my life, I know to what extent I think I could care or love somebody. So it's not so much that I feel like, oh, I'm ready now. I think I've been ready for a while, you know, but now I'm more self aware, and I'm in a happier place now too. So I think that only works to my benefit.
yeah,
Because I've been through depression. You were talking about depression earlier. I've been through my depression too, you know. And
yeah. What did you do to get out?
dude, I just got active. I just started getting healthier again, you know. I think that plus hanging out with the right people like Adrian
Yeah.
and my closest group of friends. I've got my buddies Adrian, Levi, Louis, Freddie, Luis Ramirez, Amanda and Cindy, my two female best friends, are like sisters to me. It's you keep the fucking right people around, bro. And like with this dude here, I'm not ashamed to tell him anything. Well, with most of my friends, I'm not ashamed to say anything. You know, if I'm going through something or other, and fucking uplift each other. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's having the right people, and because it is true what they say, man. You got the wrong person around you, that's a cancer.
Yes.
And I realize I can be negative sometimes too, and I've been more aware about shutting that side of myself off too. You know.
Yeah, you have to catch yourself. You know, it's like, damn, you know, and that comes with self-awareness too. You know, it's like, damn, like last time I responded this way, let me try it this way. Or like sometimes I know with me, like, I caught myself like in the brink of arguing, and I'm just like, I catch myself and like, let me respond differently. You know, and I'm glad I do that now, whereas before I would just react. You know, and I don't know, that comes from. Well, that comes from self-reflection, but it also comes from growth and stuff, you know, and realizing and stuff, you know. And there's been a lot of times where I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, damn, I did the wrong thing. And I've gone back and I apologized to certain situations, you know, and, you know, I messed up on this, you know, and I'm sorry, you know, or like even in some cases from years ago, it's like, hey, you know, you try to like go back and try to get that forgiveness, you know, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've been yelled at, you know, you never told me that. It's like, oh man, you know, and it's like, oops, you know, I should have never gone down this road, you know, but, you know, the intention was good.
Right.
You know, the reaction was bad, you know, but at the same time, you don't expect them to be in the same path that you're on, you know, for all you know, they've healed a different way. They've either put it in the back of their head or changed the outcome in their heads, you know. And I've had those situations where it's like, I don't remember it that way, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, it didn't happen that way, you know. Talk to you later, and I just, you know, delete, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but growth, man, growth.
And I think it might sound silly or like it doesn't make sense, but I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and they're mostly comedy podcasts, right?
Yeah.
And I know people are on the fence about Joe Rogan, whatever. But one of the things I learned from that podcast was that you got to think objectively. Don't lean too far one way or the other. Just think about, put yourself in the fucking center and weigh out all your options before you make any fucking decision.
Exactly.
And that's helped me from going into a dark place too, because I'm a lot more strategic about most of the decisions I make in my life.
Yeah, strategic. That's a good word. That's the way you have to be. You have to weigh in the whole thing. I used to watch a lot of Joe Rogan back in when he used to be on YouTube. Now I think he's on Spotify, right?
Well, he's back on YouTube again.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, then cool. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of those early ones. I watched the Mike Tyson ones too. Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Hot boxing with Mike Tyson.
Hot boxing with Mike Tyson. Yeah, man. I watch a lot of like the crime ones, the unsolved crimes and stuff like that. But I mainly listen to those when I'm drawing. I used to listen to a lot of music, and I need to go back to music because it goes with flow. But I think I've kind of like, not so much mastered it, but I've gotten a certain flow with my artwork. but at the same time, it's like I also need to go back to see if I missed anything. You know what I mean? As far as like flow and the way the pieces go and stuff, you know. Because I remember back then when I used to be angry, I used to put angry music into my comics, and I mean, you see them and they're hilarious, but they're hilariously dark. You know, you see Mickey Mouse blasting like somebody, and you see the guts hanging out and everything like that. It's like, damn, I didn't know cartoon characters had guts and stuff. Blood splatters and everything. It's funny. It downplays it in a sense because it's a cartoon. Kind of like, have you ever seen Super J.O.?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that cartoon, man. Yeah, it's kind of like in that kind of like funny sense.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you, man.
You got a question for me? Shoot, brother.
All right, what was your favorite place to party back in the day?
My favorite place to party back in the day? So, I was a big karaoke nerd, bro. So, we used to go to Mavericks or Smokies on Viscount.
Mavericks. Where was Mavericks?
Mavericks was off of James Watt and Lee Trevino. Right when you get off of I-10.
Was it the one that's like next to that adult store?
No.
Which one was that one?
It's before you get to Sam's on one of those back roads.
Damn, I don't remember Mavericks. Did I ever go to Mavericks? Wait, yeah, it was like in the back. It ended up changing into like a...
The Rubik's Arcade. And
yeah, okay then. Oh, all right then.
Yeah, so we used to go to Smokies for whatever reason. Myself, my buddy Eric, his wife Jenna, my brother once in a while, my buddy Peter, several of our friends, bro. We just go... That's back when we used to party Thursday through Sunday, bro. Anyway, but Saturday was either Smokies or Mavericks. But the bartending crew at Smokies on Viscount, they got real familiar with us and everything. And the karaoke DJ was cool. He'd make sure everybody would go up a couple times. And the karaoke DJ at Mavericks, he fucking sucked. He had his favorites, bro, and his favorites would go up 2 or 3 times before he'd bring somebody new on.
I got a funny Maverick story, man. It was happened recently. It happened with Adrian, actually.
Right.
I was at a show over there by, what's that gallery? The one that's by the Lincoln Center. What's that? The brewery.
Old Sheep.
Yeah, Old Sheepdog. I was doing a show at Old Sheepdog, and some of the bands were playing and stuff, and I remember like afterwards we all went to, it was Timmy's, but it was Adrian's before. Yeah, and then like we went with a couple of the bands, and Adrian was there, and I ended up meeting him up with some of the artists and stuff, And then there was this one dude, and like out of nowhere, he's like, "I remember you," and I was like, "Oh damn!" He pulls out this picture from Mavericks where I got this other dude drunk, the guitarist, the one man band. I don't want to say his name, but in case whatever But he pulls out this picture, and I was like, damn, dude, that was like from 10, 15 years before. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. He's all like, yeah, you got him so drunk that, and he ended up puking and all this stuff, and that was one of the worst times. And I'm trying to remember, I think I was with it was like 2 exes ago. And we might have met him, and I think our thing was to get people drunk, So like when we ran across him, we were like, oh, let's get him drunk, And so like we ended up getting him drunk and stuff, We took a picture, and then like that night that we re-met, we ended up like recreating the picture, It was awesome, But it's crazy to hear those stories, It's like some random dude,
right?
Where it's just like, oh wow, So yeah, that's my Maverick story.
Yeah, we used to go to Mavericks not just for the karaoke, just to go drink there and party there, because it was a good vibe there always, And I remember one of our buddies, Rich, tattoo artist, rest in peace. That guy would just light up any room he'd walk into. He was about your height, and Rich was a real good dude. I remember this one time, we walked in there at the same time. All our friends were already there, and as we were walking in, he's the kind of guy who would just say a random comment, and one of the comments he said, some guy that was just, we didn't know. He just go, look at this guy with his green shirt. Hell yeah, this guy's got a green shirt, and he just goes about his business. We keep on walking towards our friends, and that guy's just fucking, he's just puzzled, like, what the fuck? No, Rich was a good dude, man. He carried that party vibe too, pretty good.
I wonder how many people that got drunk, because I remember one time in Vegas, I went by myself, and I went to this one club, and it was on Fremont Street, and it was like an upstairs club. So I go up there, I'm just partying by myself and stuff, and there was a bunch of people by the balcony, and so I go to the balcony, and then we're just looking over onto Fremont Street, and there's this dude, and he's like, he's wilding out, and I was just like, yo, what's up, man? And he's all like, I don't know how we started talking. Maybe it was like a shot or something. Hey, you want a shot? Whatever, And And he's like, it's my birthday. I was like, is it really? And he's like, yeah. So like, give me some more shots, So I started ordering shots, and dude, he ended up getting drunk, dude. He took off his shirt, and then he was throwing stuff over. Security came, and they're like, hey man, control your buddy. I was like, I don't know him, dude. And so they're like, well, if you don't control him, we're gonna have to kick him out. And I was like, yeah. So when they were walking up to him, I was just like, all right, now's my time to dip, So that's when I took off.
Right.
I was like, I wonder what happened to that guy. I wonder if he got arrested. I wonder, I took a picture of him as he was just sitting there, and like I still have the picture. He's kind of like just slumped like that, like shirtless,
right,
by the balcony. It's just like, I was like, damn, dude, I wonder if I ruined that guy's life.
He was never heard from again.
Yeah, and so sometimes I used to do that, or like me and my friends used to do that. Pick up some random person, and destroy their lives apparently. For a twisted pleasure, I don't know, But to me, it was always about having fun.
Right.
I have another story too, man. So I had this coworker, and she was going out with this Russian soldier guy, and I remember like one time, like she was all like, yeah, dude, he's saying that Americans can't drink. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, Americans can't drink. I was like, dude, bring him over to the party. And so it just so happens that weekend, I think Klitschko was fighting.
Right.
And I was just like, yeah, dude, invite him over to the Klitschko fight. He's going to say yes. And ask him what he wants to drink. Vodka, right? So, that's what it was. He said that Americans can't drink vodka. So at the time,
I sure as hell can't.
Deep into, yeah. I was deep into vodka, right? So I was like, whatever vodka he likes, And so, dude, we drank him under the table, man. By the end of the night, he was like in the bathroom puking. And so we're laughing over here. He comes out of the bathroom. I was like, hey, man, you want another shot? He was all like, yeah. And so, like, the next day, that following Monday, we're like, hey, dude, is he doing all right? He's like, yeah, but he's never going to come over again. He drank a Russian soldier under the table, man.
Going back to my art days in Phoenix, bro. I mean, I was 18, 19, 20 before I came back to El Paso. And one of the parties that we had gone to, bro, there were two deaf mutes, or the ones that could barely talk a little bit, right? I think.
Yeah.
So get this story, bro. True fucking story. We're there, and me being young and naive, when I'm talking to them, I'm doing fucking hand gestures, right, as if they can't already fucking read lips or whatever. But I wasn't drinking because I was driving, and I was pretty responsible then, where I'm not going to drink, or if I drank 1 or 2 drinks just to make sure I got my buddies back to my apartment safe, or our apartment safe. And it was two guys that were deaf mute, and we're in the balcony of that fucking apartment complex where the party's at, and one of them's like, "You're not drinking?" And then he's like, "You're not drinking?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm driving." And the fucker goes, "Pussy." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude." If for any second before he called me a pussy, the guy's a deaf mute, you feel sorry for him, but the second he goes pussy, I'm like, "Fuck you, man. I don't feel sorry for your ass anymore." Yeah.
Oh man, dude, I have a deaf mute story too, man. It was a young lady that she was a friend of a friend, and she was really attractive, And
oh shit.
And and so like I ran across her in Cincinnati, and we started texting each other. I would text and I would show her, and she would like, sometimes she would understand my words and stuff like that. We ended up hooking up, man. We ended up going back to my place, and her friend was like with us, and she, like, we're like, well, where do we do this? Where we're gonna, whatever, and we ended up going to the bathroom, and so we were going at it, and the funniest thing is hearing love noises from a deaf mute, man. It was messing with me, man. I had to like be like, we're looking at each other in the mirror. I'm like, it's like, I mean, I don't want to imitate it, because it's I don't know.
You gotta reenact it.
It's a lot of. Do you remember when like Donald Duck would get mad? was something like that, you know. You know, it's.
Oh shit!
I'm trying to stay in the moment, you know, and you know.
And that's not helping.
No, it's like watching cartoons, and you know, it's like, why is Donald so mad, dude? You know.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, we ended up hooking up again another time at one of those parties, but it was the same thing, you know, just angry ducks, you know.
You didn't take those air muffs for fucking shooting galleries just to stay in the zone.
Yeah, like I had to borrow these, you know.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, I've never had a midget though. That's something I've always wanted to do. You know, I've always wanted to have a midget. You know, I'm missing that one from the list. You know, I don't know. Where do you find them though?
What about wheelchair?
Wheelchair? No.
I mentioned that because
You might have left him in a wheelchair.
So before I worked for the railroad, I worked for Job and Cemex, the rock quarry here in El Paso. It was Job, and then Cemex bought them out. I worked there for almost 11 years, bro. And one of my coworkers was I've already said too much.
So much you can do with that. Train, choo-choos,
Yeah.
running trains, wrestlers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But this guy Jesse. No, oh shit! I already said.
Delete.
This motherfucker. No. This dude, bro. He. I remember he had a story where yeah, he said he pretended to be 25 and he was like in his late 30s at the time. Had a date with a girl that was wheelchair bound, and he just talked about how that went for him too. I was like, man, you're crazy, bro. I can't.
What would he do though? Like,
he took her on a date, met the parents, pretended to be younger, and
he even met the parents?
he even met the parents, bro.
Dang, straight up lies.
But that guy was straight up. No shame. No shame.
Oh man. No, I never had a wheelchair one or missing limbs. Missing limbs, I wouldn't mind that. It's all right, you know. I've seen some of the ones that the ones that run track and have like those, you know, they have like nice legs on, nice half legs, you know. Like, wow. But I mean, those are athletes too.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would work out in El Paso. Y'all ever had like a weird fetish or anything like that? You know, like besides like let's say like me with midgets and stuff. You know.
Oh, weird fetishes.
Like girls with like unibrows or anything.
No.
Like that, no. No.
Unibrows.
I'm just saying. You know? Girls with small foreheads. You know, the hair starts like right here. You know. And little munchie cheese. You know, or no, nothing like that.
A forehead like Billy Bats. From Goodfellas.
No, I'm pretty average, bro. I'm pretty average, bro. But it's crazy how I used to have another coworker, bro, that also very shameless, very very shameless, and had a beautiful wife, bro. Beautiful wife. All due respect to her, I'm just saying she was a very beautiful wife, bro. And this fucker would mess around a lot, and some of his pickings were the worst I'd I couldn't picture him doing anything with these people, bro. And I'd ask him, I'd be like, Carnal. He was a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witness, very clean and proper, but he was also kind of cholo.
Yeah.
So he spoke cholo too, and I'm like, Carnal, you got a beautiful wife at home, bro. Like why? You know? And Carnal, it's because sometimes you want what you don't have at home. Like, nah, bro.
You should get the ugly ones sometimes.
Yeah, bro. Like,
I remember one time at Grams, man. Grams was getting pretty brutal towards right before they closed it.
Right.
I used to call it like mutant night because it was like no pretty girls. The waitresses were like borderline, you know, I remember like, looking at the waitress, I was like, dang, she's the hottest one here, and she's not even all that, she's like a 6 maybe. You know, and I remember like there was a couple nights where like I just wanted to hook up with somebody, and I'm just like, you know, this one time.
this warlock will do.
Yeah, and that's really what happened. Some wildebeest, you know. She worked at the call center. I don't remember her name, but I took her to the romantic setting of the dumpsters, you know, in the back, you know. And you know, as soon as we were done, I just walked away. You know, she was still putting her stuff up, you know, getting dressed. Years later, I ran into her at Kmart, the one that used to be on McCrae.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why I went to Kmart. I never go to Kmart, man. I was like, but I needed something, and I
For the
didn't go
blue
to
light
Walmart.
special, bro.
Yeah, blue light special. Yeah. And so like I'm in line, and I'm just like looking around, you know, whatever like that, you know, and I look in front of me, and she's like 2 people in front of me, and I'm just like, oh man, dude, it's that girl from Grams, you know, and then she turns around, and looks at me, and then like we make eye contact, and I was like, damn it. So she starts like, she's still brutal, you know, she's not pretty, you know, she's not attractive at all. And she starts like giving me like that romantic look, you know, and I'm just like. She pays her stuff, and she's over there messing around like with her cart, you know, like I guess like pretending until I get up there, you know, and you know, still giving me the look, you know, the bedroom eyes and everything, and I'm just like, oh man. As soon as I paid for my stuff, I ran out, dude. I'm never coming to Kmart ever again, dude.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I never did. And even now, I'm still hesitant to go into at home because, you know, it's like at home now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if I run into her at home, you know?
God forbid you need an umbrella.
Yeah, dude, it was. Yeah, I'm not proud of that one, but I mean, I guess we all have that one that we're not proud of, right? It's just probably a nice girl, you know. To somebody, you know, not to me, but to somebody else, you know.
I hate that you're mentioning the eye contact. I hate that, bro. When you have accidental eye contact, like, fuck, man.
Yeah, you know, it's so random too, you know. It's just, I remember going to Grams a couple times, running into like a few extras from before. It's like you look across the bar, eye contact. You're like, damn it, you know. It's here she comes, you know. Hey, where you been? And you're like, yeah. I don't know, you know. That happens to everybody, right?
It happens, bro.
But I run across people like everywhere, though. It's funny, you know. I remember one time I was in North Carolina. I was training like people where I work at, and like I was there for a quinceañera, for my niece's quinceañera, and we were at a mall, and I told my parents, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go to Macy's real quick, you know, see what they got. Well, she's over here doing her quinceañera stuff, you know, and so I go in there, and this was like after that time period when I was partying, but before the concussion.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably still partying, but not as much. But I'm looking through some stuff, and then like I hear, is that Gabe? And I was just like, damn, I'm in North Carolina. Who the hell knows me here? You know, North Carolina. And I turned around. Fortunately, it was just like, you know, some people that I had taught some stuff, you know. But oh man, that used to always make me cringe sometimes. You know, is that Gabe? You know, I guess with the whole Chuco Chamuco moniker, people say, hey, Chamuco. You know, there's like a division between that old life and the new life that I have. You know, and that's great for me. You know, because you know, it's cool.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. You know. Going back to art real quick, I did a show in Phoenix, Pancakes and Booze, and I had a few pieces up there, and this one girl comes up and she's like, I saw your stuff at the living room, and I was like, really? And it kind of like it messed with me a little bit, because I was like, wait, where am I? It's like, oh damn, I'm in Phoenix, like this girl from Phoenix to see my stuff in El Paso, and she remembered the style and everything enough so much that she recognizes it at this event, So I was like, wow, that was cool, And every now and then, like when I do shows like in Albuquerque, they'll be like, yeah, I saw you in Santa Fe, or I saw you here, or when I go to Tucson, it's like, yeah, I saw you in Phoenix, and that's pretty cool, I did a couple shows in LA where like there were, I did a few gallery shows, they're like, oh yeah, I saw you at this other gallery, or I saw you at this other place, and that's the cool part about that. But again,
yeah, for sure,
the division, right?
Yeah, I was talking to Diego about that, if he likes being recognized or whatever, and because I think this is the reason we do this, the art or the music or whatever, and
yeah,
and I've had instances where we've only got 2 songs out. Like I told you, my son plays drums and myself on guitar, my buddy Adam on vocals, and I've got different dudes playing bass on either track. But I remember going to a show at the Rock House and getting recognized, like, oh my God, you're the guy from One Star Day, and your son plays awesome drums and this and that. It feels good, bro, getting recognized.
Yeah.
For the right reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I would hate to hear, like, is that Gabe? Be like, damn it, that's from that old life, Really trying to get past that, but sometimes it just creeps up, But, I mean, at least now I can say that I've grown from that time period, for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't want to say completely, but for the most part, it's been pretty good.
You're a wiser Chamuco now.
Definitely a wiser Chamuco. It seems like when I got the name Chamuco, I turned into a wise person. It should have been the other way around. It should have been Chamuco back then, But I guess you live up to the name, though, right? Like when people say, like, to boxers, like, hey, champ, even though they're not champs anymore.
Right, right.
Yeah, something like that, Yeah.
So the moniker fit when you were a kid, too? Were you a vago or growing up in the streets of Isleta?
No, so I was like a little vago when I was a kid, when I was like little kid, but I was the habitual line pusher.
Right.
And then as I grew up, I was a real big nerd. I used to get made fun of, I told you that I was bullied and stuff, used to call me all sorts of names, and I always had good grades. I always drew. I always had like the art thing and everything that I did. I won a few awards. I always had like the honor roll. I was always in the honor roll. I always had like all those certificates at the end of the year. All that stuff. I was like going all the way with it, right? When I joined the military, I was like all gung ho for the military. I ended up becoming the top graduate in basic training. I got to do the speech and everything. I maxed my PT test while I was in. I was like physically fit. So it's like, yeah,
when you're in, you're all in.
Yeah, when I'm in, I'm all in. Including the party.
Yeah.
But I was always a good kid. And it wasn't until I got into the partying that I became that I lived up to that name. Chamuco. But there's pictures that I have of myself when I was a kid, dressed up as a little devil. I put one up for my birthday not that long ago in my account. It was like me in a little devil outfit, and I put Chuco, like the same shirt, but like in red and black and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of fit. I guess in a way it's me owning up to my past sins. But at the same time, it's kind of like being like, okay, yeah, this is what I am, and just moving on, so yeah, it's mostly that, the Chuco Chamuco market.
And moving on is good, bro. It's gonna get you to a better place.
It is. I'm hoping I'm eventually mature enough to get into another relationship one day, once, I get myself happy again. And right now I'm on a good path. Right now, like, I've never joked around so much since that concussion. Now it seems like I joke around a lot more. At work I don't take things serious anymore. But back then I was so angry at work. And now it's like it's happy time.
Yeah.
I joke around a lot. People know me as the guy that always joking, and I'm the fun guy. And that's really what I want to be known as.
Yeah, that's similar to where I'm at too, bro. And I'm big on leaving work at work, bro.
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of people that don't do that shit, and they take work home with them. And I love my job. I love the life it's afforded me, but I leave work at work, bro.
Yeah. I don't even think I bring my art into work, you know. So it's kind of cool, you know. I'm able to show my stuff there too, not in the where like I sell or anything like that, but just to like showcase and you know the place where I'm at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of cool, you know. That's people recognize me from that too. Yeah, man, it's really cool to be recognized, like the way you were saying earlier, for the stuff that you do now, you know. The stuff that you've done, the stuff that you've really want to be remembered by, you know, the artwork and all that, you know, in your case, the music. I wish I could do music, man. I have a piano, and I was like, I've always wanted, you know, it's collecting dust right now, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on there, but I'm gonna do this first, you know,
right.
I'll hop on the table, you know, but I just need to discipline myself to like at least do an hour a week, you know, 2 hours a week, something like that, you know, and just. Yeah, because I've always loved the sound of piano. It makes things sound so classic. You know, you threw some piano on a rock song, like Home Sweet Home, and it's like, man, you know, it's kind of cool, you know. Or even like in rap music, you know, you hear the piano sometimes, you know. Tupac's I Ain't Mad at Ya, you know, it makes it a little more intimate, you know. So, yeah, one day I'll get on it.
Yeah, I think with that recognition, bro, like that, I think we've talked about it, how there has to be for sure a little bit of selfishness in that, because we do like the attention, but like I think the music, the art, and then the podcast now, I'm doing it for the right reasons, you know. Like I wanna get everything that's great about El Paso, like you as an artist and the other people I've had on and the people that I've got scheduled to come on later. I wanna, if I get recognition for showcasing everything that's good about El Paso, like fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, man. And like recently, I've like fallen in love with El Paso.
Me too, really bro.
That feeling. I was doing a lot of out of town shows, but I'm like, for next year's Comic-Con, I want to have like all sorts of like new El Paso stuff. You know, the stuff that, you know, psychedelic stuff. You know, the colorful stuff, those landmarks that everybody remembers, but nobody draws.
Right.
And I'm real big on that. I love doing like landmarks that.
Like the fucking tank in Isleta at the VFW, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that tank.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's ever done like a serious piece with. They've done the Bronco swap meet, but like not a serious piece. You know, I've always wanted to conquer that. Like since I am from the Lower Valley, I was like, I gotta do the swap meet, man, or at least one of the swap meets. You know, I've always wanted to do places that don't exist anymore, that everybody remembers that don't exist. The headstand. A lot more Juarez pieces. I want to do a lot more Juarez pieces. I believe I'm the only artist that does like that Juarez nightlife. You know, I don't think I've seen anybody else do anything with Juarez, and that's kind of cool. You know, recently, a lot of people were sending me images from what's that place, the District, and they were using one of my pieces. And you know, I got in contact with a guy, and we came to an agreement and like that. You know, and in reality, like I really like the District. You know. So I was like, I didn't mind that they used my piece, you know. I was like, yeah, that's fine, man, that's cool, you know. Shout out to the District, you know. But yeah, it comes down to like I'm the only guy that draws Juarez, man. Like it's hard to find photographs too. It's hard to find photographs from that era. If anybody has any photographs from the Juarez days, from the partying days, contact me. You know, I want to do more of that. Spankies. That whole first block, you know, there's a piece that I have in mind of the USA Connections, and I already have it sketched out. You know, I just need to like sit down and like actually draw it on the big thing. But right now I'm doing more pieces related to LA Comic Con,
right,
and to Tucson Comic Con and stuff. You know, which is September, October. You know, after that it's all El Paso. Man. Actually, probably from September all the way through April, it's gonna be all El Paso pieces, and I'm excited for that, you know, because it's going to be like stuff that no one's seen before, you know, and I have so many ideas on what to do, you know, and I'm hoping I get remembered by those El Paso pieces. Everybody remembers me from the old ones that I did, but I haven't really done any new ones. I did do Vertigo, which a lot of people like really like and stuff, but it hasn't been like a consistent collection, you know. Now I want to do like at least like 5 to 10 pieces, you know, all of them, you know, from El Paso, and all of them like trippy and different takes on certain things, you know.
You gotta do Teddy's, bro.
Which one?
Teddy's.
That's in the works, man. That's in the works, dude. There's a whole bunch of them, man. Yeah, I have a comic book that I did, all based on El Paso stuff, you know,
Right.
that I want to re-release officially for next year. And that one has I use all the mascots, you know, like I use, what is it? The El Paso Diablos, the Chile.
Right.
That's kind of like a take on Pet Cemetery.
Right.
You know, and he adopts a Chihuahua, and then it dies on him, and then he buries him at the Tigua Pet Cemetery, and it comes back and kills him. But it's also political in a sense where like the Chihuahuas kill the Diablos.
Right.
You know, so I'm trying to do like kind of like little hidden
Right.
things like that. You know, some of them are just straight up fun. You know, I did one of J.J. Arms where he's like a Dick Tracy character. Hope he doesn't come after me, but you know, he gets his hands blown off and he gets revenge. You know, and since he's a detective that's investigating, he covers himself up. You know, what else do I have? Shorty, the mattress guy. What is it? Shorty, the
Yeah.
yeah. He gets killed by the El Paso waste disposal guy. You know the dude in the overalls, and he dumps him at Escalate Lake, and in Escalate Lake there's like mutant fish, which is Gus and Goldie, and they eat the bodies and stuff. You know? So I try to like incorporate all that El Paso stuff. You know, it's fun stuff. You know, it brings me back to those comics to drive-by days. You know,
Right.
But just El Paso based. You know.
Did you ever go to La Bonanza in Isleta, that store?
Yeah.
Across the street from Big 8, where they sell the Nike Cortez and the British
Cortez,
Knights.
Man, yeah. I could never wear Cortez though, because they were too narrow.
Yeah.
And I got big feet, you know. Yeah, so it kind of sucked. And I tried it later in, you know, like the past 5 years, and it still didn't fit.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. Because I really like Cortez, the way they look. You know?
Yeah.
It goes back to like, I'm trying to learn the crip walk too on YouTube, you know. When I go to LA, do the Comic Con, you know, do the crip walk. Which I will do next time.
So to close this off, man, one more question for you, because this is something that I used to do. So because I've been drawing forever too. So I remember specifically in high school, I had a math teacher, Mr. Waddle, and I would always score high in my classes, whatever. But I would draw on my worksheets. I'd be drawing Captain America, Superman, whatever, and turn in the homework or turn in the assignment, and he'd always have like an extra plus 10 points for your drawing, like crazy stuff like that.
Oh,
bro.
really?
Yeah, he was cool like that, bro. Damn. But were you always doodling too in high school or throughout school, or?
So I took what class was it? I don't know if it was chemistry or biology. I forgot which class it was. And I had it with my sister at UTEP. And when I didn't know the last question. The last question was like, of course, you know, they always say the long questions for that, you know, and they had to do with, I forgot what the question was, but I drew my little character on a spaceship, and he's like flying off into space, and he had like a pun that he was saying in relation to the question, and obviously my sister didn't see it until after we got it back. You know, like, she's like, "Did you get the last question right?" And I was like, "Nah, dude." She's like, "What you put?" And I showed her, and she says like to this day, it just cracks her up. You know, she's like, "Why would you put that?" I was like, "I didn't know the question." You know, like, so I drew a picture. You know. So it made her laugh so much, you know, and I was just like, wow. I wonder if I still have that too. She brings it up every now and then, you know. She's like, I can't believe you drew that picture for the answer, you know. But yeah, I used to draw a lot of stuff. I got in trouble one time at the call center too, because there was a stuck-up girl there, and everybody liked her, and I didn't like her because I thought she was stuck up. So I drew a picture of her with this other dude that would always talk to her. He was a goofy-looking guy, and I drew them together. And she turned me in for, I guess it was sexual harassment.
It's harassment.
Yeah, it is, right? I think, because I showed it to him, and then he's like, oh, let me show it to one of my friends. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, you know.
It caught like wildfire.
Huh?
It caught like wildfire.
Yeah, I showed it to the girl, and I was like, and he's like, I showed it to her, dude. She's kind of mad. I was like, why would you show it to her? You know, I thought you were going to show one of your other friends. She's like, no, she's my friend. I was like, oh, man, had I known that. So I had to tear it up and everything, you know, and I went into... not HR, but the managers, and they're all like, "Is it true that you drew a picture?" I was like, "No, I don't know. You know, like, did you get rid of it?" I was like, "I don't know what picture you're talking about." You know, and since they couldn't prove it, you know, it was like I got away with it. Yeah, pretty much. You know, don't be drawing, you know, on the clock. I was like, "All right, cool." You know, I still drew, but just not her, you know.
Yeah.
And the dude was all like, "Can you draw another one so I could keep it?" I was like, "No, dude, I'm not giving you anything anymore, snitch," you know. But same guy turned me into a girl that I was seeing. She wasn't even my girlfriend; she was a girl I was seeing. But he said that I was seeing another girl, and then that girl got mad, and I was like, "This dude's nothing but a snitch, man." I had to break up our friendship. We did the whole.
Yeah.
It's bro code, dude. We're in our 20s. We're supposed to live to the max. You know?
Oh yeah.
But
I had a cholo in English class in high school that, not an original idea, I'm sure it already existed. He's like, "Dude, draw this for me." And I'm like, "What do you want me to draw for you, bro?" And so he wanted a drawing of a mouse with a big piece on him. Saying, "Here, kitty, kitty," and a cat with his mouth wide open running away. So I drew it for him, bro, and that dude he held on to that forever, bro. And I remember he'd fucking take it out of his wallet all crumpled up, like, "Look, dude, I still got it." He'd show it to me, like, "Damn, man."
You know, I had a lot of friends that told me that they still had the notebooks that I would draw on them and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know? And yeah, let me tell you a quick story. Well, let me ask you a question real quick.
Ask me.
When did you realize that you could draw? Like, what is the one incident that you were like, "Oh man, like I got something here"?
Dude, so I've been drawing forever.
Yeah.
Like, I've been drawing forever. My mom can paint and draw too, so I think that's where I get it from. So I've been drawing forever, but even when I was in elementary school, I think it was third grade, they had a program called Odyssey of the Mind. And we didn't know we were trying out for this, but my teacher, Miss Rimkus, she was describing a character, and you're supposed to draw the character based on her description. I remember the character's name was Fritz. But she's like, "This character is shaped like a square. This character is furry. This character has a nose like this and a mouth like that and eyes like this." So you're drawing whatever she's telling you to draw. And I remember mine was one of the best in class. And she was like, when she saw my drawing, she was like, "This is great. This is amazing." So that's when I first noticed it was not just an average drawing, you know, compared to the other kids.
I had a similar incident. I believe it was second or third grade, one of those two. No, it had to be second grade because it had to be second grade. We have this book. We were reading a book. It's called I think it's called A Fortune Teller or something like that. And it's about a dude that like he came into town it was like those circus that come in on a train and stuff like that. So he had his tent, and then he would give a card, and they had a red dot, and what you do is you press it and you make a wish. The wish giver, that's what it was called, the wish giver. And so his name was Thaddeus Blinn. That was the character's name that would grant the wishes. And of course, all the wishes ended up becoming all messed up and stuff. You know, it was kind of like one of those like
Careful what you wish for.
Faustian type of legends. You know, like be careful what you wish for and stuff like that. You know, and so the after we read the book, the teacher told us, "All right, draw a character from the book." And I was like, "I'm gonna draw Thaddeus Blinn, right?" So I drew it out, and I remember like when I turned it in, we got our grades back and everything. Like all the kids were like, "You traced it, you traced it." I was like, "No, I didn't trace it." You know, they're like, "Yeah, you traced it," and I was just like, "Wow, I think I got something here." You know, and after that, I started drawing more and more. Like in elementary school, you had this kid that was the athlete, this kid that that did this kid, and at the time I was still being bullied, but that's when I became known as the guy that draws. That was my place. And after that, like I got called up by the teachers to draw like this or draw that, because I remember like the reason why I remember second grade was because that's when we got introduced to dinosaurs, and we were discovering all the different kinds of dinosaurs. The teacher asked me to draw the different dinosaurs for a project, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll draw all of them." So yeah, it was second grade, man. Yeah, that teacher was really influential. I had a lot of teachers that were very influential. I still talk to one of them. My middle school teacher. She's the first one that got me into winning awards throughout the city.
Right.
I did win a few awards in elementary school. Do you remember the Bear books? I did a spoof of RoboCop, and I did it off of my dog, which I had a weenie dog, so I called her Robo Dog. So I spoofed the whole movie, like as far as him and stuff like that. I won first place with that one.
Robo Dog shoots the bad guy in the dick too, or
Yeah, that was a red rocket. It was no. Watch out for the missile. No, but she got me into that, you know, and I won my first award in middle school for the city, and I actually got put up at the Museum of Art,
right?
the one that we all were just at.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the reason why I've always had like a closeness to that museum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm an artist member for it. You know, I pay my membership and everything like that. You know, but it's, you know, I've always felt a closeness to
Mm-hmm.
it. You know, all my first shows were there. Years later, the first show that I did as an adult was about 2 years ago. It was after COVID, and I invited my art teacher, and she went, and so we kind of like redid the photo that we took from middle school, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it was really cool, you know, it was a touching moment, and I'm still friends with her, and
Mm-hmm.
she has cats, I have cats, so we talk about cats and we talk about artwork and stuff like that, you know, and it's pretty cool, you know. I had another teacher in high school, which I'm friends with, I believe, on Instagram, but I haven't really reached out to her. There's been a few influences. My dad was a big influence. I remember for Christmas, he gifted me all his drawings from the ones that I used to mimic.
Mm-hmm.
So I have all of those now, you know, and that's pretty cool, you know. All my influences were West Coast based, aside from everything that was here. I always loved Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
I always loved like that. As I grew up, I loved that underground comic scene, the lowbrow art.
Mm-hmm.
I love all that stuff. Like, I know you've done like Fink.
Yeah, like that one's my piece too, right there.
Yeah, and that was like from that era of art,
Mhm.
you know, in Southern Cal. I
Mhm.
love that stuff, you know, a lot of the skateboard art,
Mhm.
and I want to dabble into that too, you know. I want to dabble into like the graffiti stuff, and I like showing up to the events here. As far as the graffiti, I'm still influenced a lot by a lot of people, you know. It was cool, you know, because when I went to the graffiti thing, the Borderland, what was it? The Borderland, what was it called? Borderland Fest, or the one that happened like, what, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to some of the artists, and they were like, yeah, you Chuco Chamuco? And I was like, yeah, you know, oh, I love your stuff, you know. I was like, dude, this is amazing, dude, you know. So it was cool to have that camaraderie, you know. It's like, nah, I don't really draw. I was like, you don't draw? Like, what the hell is this then, you know? Like, you're an artist, dude.
Mhm.
Like, this is awesome, man. I was, really influenced by, like, a lot of the artists there, you know. It's like, wow, you know. There's a lot of artists out there that really influence me. That's continue to influence me, you know. Some of the earlier people, I remember, like, Loft Light Studios was where I first did my first shows. One of the first places the first place that I did, I asked to be a part of the last Thursday. That was at Loft Light, but my first show was actually at Tricky Falls.
Mm-hmm.
I did my first show there, and all the shows thereafter were over at Loft Light Studios. And that's where I started, like, you know, remembering all the people. I remember, like, I had a show one time at my place, and I was showcasing, like, my artwork there. Some people showed up and everything, and I kind of had a little after party. Not a naked party, an after party, you know. Fully clothed, you know. It was just an art party. And we ordered some pizza, and that dude, the one that ended up coming out in the commercial, Diego,
Mm-hmm.
I forget his last name, but he came out in that Domino's commercial that was nationwide for his graffiti and stuff, you know,
Mhm.
and he's the one that delivered the pizza, you know, and we became good friends from there, you know. I remember seeing him, and I was like, wait, you're the guy from the Domino's commercial. And so, like, it was kind of cool, you know, in that sense, you know. I invited him in. I was like, check this out, this is what I do, and yeah, you know, and that was like, what, 13 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, you know. There's a lot of people that are still around. There's a lot of people that have disappeared, you know, and I've always wanted to stay in it, you know, go all the way with it, right? And that's what I've all, and as I advance in age, and as I'm getting closer to my retirement, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, all right, what should I do now? You know, should I retire and go all the way with this, securing my pension? Should I continue working now that it's easier right now, but I don't know how it's going to be like, you know, when it's retirement. I'm still trying to figure that out, you know. But with as much as I've done right now, I still feel like I need to get more into the art scene. I still need to do a lot more. There's still so much to do, you know. And I'm hoping by staying like, I guess living a good life, living a clean life, you know, that I can continue doing that, you know. I want to be like 80 years old and be like, oh damn, you know, that's Chuco Chamuco, still wearing these shirts. You know,
hell yeah,
like,
bro.
I'll be at Walmart and whatever, you know, oh, Chuco Chamuco, that famous artist, you know, like the way I feel when I see Hope Barron, you know, it's like, damn, that's Hope Barron, dude, like, wow, you know. Yeah, that's how I want to be, you know. If it's not here, then somewhere else. You know?
Manifest it, bro.
Yeah. It's I've always manifested it, man. Yeah, because I remember even like at LA Comic Con, I was like, one day I'll do it, and bam, I did it. Like, you know, flying for it at Bassett. You know, I remember going on those LA vacations, and I go to the galleries. I'll be like, one day I'll be here, and I've already done 4 gallery shows. Yeah, and one of them is like a really good gallery, the Hive. They have this gallery called the Hive in downtown LA, and I had a piece up there for like a month, and I was like, wow, you know, like, yeah, I was telling people, I was like, remember when I used to like, when I used to say that I wanted to be up there, and all of a sudden I'm up there, you know. Yeah, so it's, we were talking about manifesting earlier, and I feel like a lot of times, like, I'm able to manifest. Sometimes at work they call me the brujo, you know. I'll say some stuff, you know, and then it happens, and they're like, how the hell, you know. I'll start talking about, like, you know, like, I remember this one girl, she's all like, my kid's having a quinceañera. I was like, do they make dresses for pregnant quinceañeras? Like, shut up, don't say anything, you know. I'm like, just asking, you know.
Because you never know.
She's like, don't say anything anymore, I don't want you to manifest it, you know. But, yeah, sometimes it happens, man. It's, yeah. But manifesting the positive stuff, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. You know, I can manifest negative stuff real quick.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm trying to change it so that it's positive. Yeah.
Again, bro, keep the right people around, and
Yes.
that'll help you keep that mindset even more so active, I think.
Yeah. So it's good to manifest this stuff, you know. By the way, a lot of names, places, and stories have been changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some stories have been slightly exaggerated. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't sue me. I didn't say anything. Y'all signed NDAs, remember?
And it was all in good fun, too. So.
Yeah, it was all in good fun. Yeah. For all of us, right?
Well, keep us posted with everything you've got going on, man, and
Yeah, hell yeah.
you got to come back and share more stories with us, bro.
Yeah. I'll wear a mask.
I'm sure it doesn't end with whatever we heard today. Come back when you get your midget.
I'll bring her along. I'll be like, hey, here's Brittany, you know. Mwah, you know? Her little stubby arms, like she's getting me by the head. You know?
she'll put you in a happier place for sure, bro.
Yeah. Where's she going? It's like, oh, she's going under the table, man. Just keep reporting.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I shouldn't be drinking, so I'm gonna spit that shit out. Oh, man. Well, if you want to leave our show with a final phrase of positive manifestation or anything,
I can tell you where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
So starting late July, August, September, I'll be doing the ones that are paid for right now. I'll be doing nothing but collectibles at Sunland the first weekend of August. Las Cruces Comic Con 2 weeks later, like August, like I think it's like the second week or something. Labor Day weekend I'll be in Tucson for Tucson Comic Con. The following weekend I'll be doing Soldier Con. And then the first weekend of October, I'll be doing LA Comic Con. But I'm trying to do another one in conjunction with LA. It's called ToonCon. I'm still waiting for them to post the dates. I'm hoping it's going to be the weekend before, the weekend after LA Comic Con. If it is, then I'll be out there in California for like a weekend, for 2 weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I have a busy schedule coming up. Hopefully, also Pancakes and Booze in Tucson, which I'm hoping will be in mid-October. I'll be out there. And then the rest of the year, I'll probably be doing El Paso shows, local shows, Black Thursday shows, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then January, I already paid my table for Albuquerque Comic Con, so I'm already starting 2025. Oh, and of course El Paso Comic Con, that's
Mm-hmm.
already also paid for next year. So I already have 2 in the works for next year, on top of all the ones that I'm doing between August and October. So catch me there.
Hell yeah, man. That's
I'll
what
be
you're keeping
announcing.
busy. That's badass.
You can follow me on chucochamuco.com, my website, or at Chuco Chamuco on my Instagram. I do have a Facebook. It's Chuco Chamuco. That one's mostly for fun, but I do one on stuff here and there. It's mostly for like my local people here. I have a bigger following on my Instagram. Instagram is strictly art, so I keep that to artwork only. My Facebook, I mess around a lot. I try to make people laugh and stuff like that, But I do post shows there. I'll post a little bit more insight, I guess it's like a free subscription to like what I think up, I have thoughts on Parade that I'll say. I'll say what I'm thinking. I'll think about, I'll write down the ideas that I have. I go over a lot of boxing on that too. I'll write articles on that. Memes. I take over a lot of memes. I put my silly face on it. Yeah, so that's my Facebook. But if you just want to know about art, Instagram at Chuco Chamuco.
Not the other way around. That's a fake account.
Yeah, there's a fake account out there. The one that has 0 posts is not me.
Yeah, so avoid that one. Oh man, thanks for coming again.
Yeah,
this was
thanks for
fun.
the invite, dude.
But before any of those big shows, make sure you come back and we'll help you promote again, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So-
We'll definitely do another one, man. I got a lot more stories, man.
Oh yeah. So this is Rene Rodriguez with the Long Story Longer podcast with Gabe Rodriguez, also known as Chuco Chamuco. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys. Peace out. And thank you, brother.
Thanks, man.